So once again, Tihomir Opacic and my name is Miloš Đekić. We are a part of a team called IT Serbia Podcast. We have a podcast. In case you don't listen to it, you might as well start. We're just going to do a quick chit-chat with our speakers today because we've been listening to them talking about their expertise, which is awesome, and that's practically the reason we are here. But as you know, as we are all like human beings, we do much more than our jobs. These guys have more hobbies than they may seem to have. So we would like to talk about that with them. So guys, it's gonna be like an interrogation, right? So we're just gonna ask you a couple of questions. You just answer truthfully.
And okay. Yeah, real quick, yeah.
So Tihomir, can you start?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Already announced Laracon EU, and I know that Sean, you've been involved in organizing this event for the past couple of years, right? And also, I know that you've hosted a Laravel podcast, right? And then a couple of shows ago, you switched to dev discussions. Can you please tell us more about dev discussions and the difference between Laravel podcast?
Yeah, sure. The Laravel podcast was an opportunity to kind of, originally we just had a bunch of community members on, and over time we started talking about focusing on the changes of the framework. The framework has kept bringing new patterns and stuff, and so we wanted to be able to talk about those. Eventually, I wanted to kind of do something a little bit different, podcast-wise. I wanted to focus on things that were not necessarily tied to Laravel or PHP. I just wanted a general place to talk about development ideas. So I started working with dev discussions, and Matt Stauffer, he's a great speaker, and he runs a web agency. He took over running the Laravel podcasts, and that's kind of where we are now.
Yeah. Okay, cool, thanks. Another thing, Miloš, would you?
Yeah, so we noticed something in your short bio for this meetup. So Scala, educational value of Scala. So can you elaborate on your statement, you were blown away by its? Is
anybody here familiar with Scala as a language? All right, so it's an object-oriented functional hybrid, which is kind of a strange thing, but it compiles to Java bytecode. So it's very fast, as fast as the JVM, and it's very portable, so it runs everywhere that the JVM runs, which is everywhere. The thing I love about Scala is that it focuses a lot on functional ideas, immutable structures, and it gives you a real opportunity to dive into these functional ideas, but you still have object-oriented constructs, and you can still do everything. You could even use it the same way you use Java, so it would be like a slimmed down, nicer to work with Java. But instead, it's actually this great opportunity to study functional programming, which for me has been basically changed the way I looked at object-oriented programming and everything.
I think you've answered the question. You're awesome, thank you. Can we switch to somebody else?
Yeah, let's talk a bit about Zend framework with Rob. So
yeah, Rob. So
yeah, we've sort of. I like these Google Trends graphs, and I like to compare different frameworks.
Focusing on this line here, actually, the yellow one.
Yeah, so everyone, this blue line here, that's Zend framework. I like to see Laravel climbing so fast because we use it a lot in our company. And what's interesting for me is the Magento. You see, it's not a framework, but it uses Zend as a base. So it's growing rapidly, stagnating while Zend is falling. So I was wondering what's cooking in Zend labs, if you have any idea. Will Zend ever become as popular as before? What's going on?
I have no idea. I don't know. I like Zend framework a lot. I think that's better. Okay. One of the things I like about Zend framework more than anything else is it's focused on backwards compatibility, so you could reliably use it over a long time period. No, we've been going a long while. So we started back in 2006, and we're still maintaining actively Zen Framework 1. So if you've got Zen Framework 1 code, it still runs, it's still valuable to you, and we recognise that as framework authors, so that's important to you. So Zen Framework 1, we've been concentrating on getting it running on PHP 7. That's good. That's what I think is a key feature of Zen Framework over all the other frameworks. Zen Framework 2 introduced a lot more flexibility, a lot more best practices, a lot more patterns, and a lot more of a learning curve. And you can start seeing the drop down again as the learning curve got higher. And Laravel's going up. Laravel's got a very shallow learning curve. It's got very good support resources.
And marketing, I'd say.
Sorry?
And marketing.
It's got marketing as well, but I think its ability to let developers get their job done is very good. So that's why it's doing well, and we're happy with that. And we're hoping that Zen Framework 3 will start emulating some of that in terms of providing good resources to developers.
Thank you for answering the question. I mean, this guy wrote a book about Zen, so he's obviously the one who was able to answer it. But this, however, raises a bit more attention when we look at it. So you are a huge supporter, if I'm correct, of the other initiative. Can you tell us something about the achievements of this movement?
Huge supporter. I wouldn't say I was a huge supporter. I'm a strong believer in that everyone should have the abilities and opportunities that I've had in my life. And there's lots of different groups out there, different types of people. Women come to mind, people from poorer backgrounds, black people, which haven't had the same set of opportunities that I've had in terms of being able to grow my career. And I would like to help, in my small way, those sorts of people to be able to become better programmers. And the Age Initiative, App Camp for Girls is another good example, Code Club for new developers, for children, are all good examples of initiatives that are trying to widen the reach of people who can program in this world. And I think that's really important. So yeah, that's why I support these sort of initiatives.
Thank you. May I order a round of applause for supporting that initiative? Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. So, Matthias, we all know that you're very involved in community. You're a very engaged person. So, can you tell us a bit more about your, well, why do you do it? What's in it for you?
Well, it doesn't feel like I'm doing that much. I'm just doing stuff that I like or that I find interesting. Like for me, blogging started as a way of explaining stuff is hard. Explaining technical things, technical ideas can be very hard. So I was thinking, how can I get better at this? How can I get better at my career and talk to people and discuss how will we build this thing or how will we structure this thing? So I started trying to write stuff down. Sometimes this was just in documentation privately, and then I started blogging. And same thing with giving presentations. It's like, okay, blogging is fine, but it's easy to explain something in writing because you have a lot of time and you can just change it all the time. How can I explain this in person to people? And so that's just what I do. I started enjoying it, and if you enjoy something, you get better, and if you get better, you enjoy it more. So I kept doing it. And then other things like the DDD Belgium community. That was just something that a couple of us, we were on the train back from DDDX, a conference in London. And there were so many Belgian people there, we just said, hey guys, we have to do something. We have to do something in Belgium as well. So we just started organizing some meetups, and you call a company, do you have a room that we can use? Can you provide some sandwiches and some beers? And that's fine. And you put it on Twitter and people start showing up. It's that easy to start a meetup. So just do these things.
I think that all the people gathered around PHP Serbia just showed up because they felt the need to be tied around the community. So you just need to give it to people so that they can join, and I think that things start to resolve themselves.
Yeah, I think it's like what you guys are doing, and clearly you're doing it right because so many people are coming, and I think this shows that there's room for more. If if you're interested in some specific technology or some specific thing, just start your own meetup, and I'm sure you guys will advertise it, and it will spread, and you will find people who struggle with the same problems that want to talk about it, and you'll learn faster. It's crazy how simple it is.
Yeah, in our last conference here, sorry for constantly turning my back to everyone. So we interviewed a countryman of yours. So
Michelangelo Van Damme, are you familiar with him? Yeah, you must have been doing something together because you are obviously the part of the same community.
Well, we never organized something together, but we have met each other many times, of course, in Belgium and in the community. So yeah, he's a great guy. I
would like to take the chance to thank the three of you for joining us here in Serbia.
Thanks for having us.
Entertaining this hungry crowd. So thanks once again for chatting with us, and pizza, guys.
Thanks.